We're out here in beautiful southwest Kerry with Jim Feeney, General Manager of the famous Parknasilla Resort. Now, they've been welcoming guests here since the century before the last, and in all of that time they've been through quite a bit of few recessions, not to mention a couple of world wars. So they certainly know how to overcome adversity. Still, I suppose, Jim, West Kerry has not escaped unharmed in this current recession?
No, we're no different than any place else, Eamon. Certainly it's had its effect. I suppose the difference this time compared to other recessions we've experienced in the past is the increased amount of product around the country, to state the obvious.
Sure.
And not only the increased amount of product, but the quality of it as well, which ups the ante even more.
Yeah.
But having said that, we're pleased to report that the home market, which has been a very good foundation for us over the years, continues to perform strongly.
Yeah, well, in fact I was going to ask you about that, because in what we used to call the good old days, good weather always tempted people away for more domestic holidays, and you've seen the benefit of that, is what you're saying, this year?
Well, absolutely. This year it's been a dream, and long may it continue. Hopefully it'll make up for last year. What good weather does for us, more than anything else, is that it gets people to extend their holidays, whereas they may book originally for 3 or 4 days. They tend to add on a day either end, which is really the icing on the cake. Number one. But number two, it's also very gratifying that people have having decided to stay at home this year and last year, get the benefit of good weather.
Sure, and of course there's been a massive investment here and in many more hotels in the West, and I suppose achieving occupancy is a starting point, but it's only one part of it. How difficult is it to get realistic rates in today's trading environment?
Very difficult. You only have to look at the back page of all the daily papers to see the rates that are being offered out there, and whereas it's great value for the customer, needless to say, from the hotel operator point of view, especially at the 4 or 5 star level, I would think that the rates are unsustainable.
Sure.
If this goes on for any length of time, because whereas a lot of the product, as I said earlier, is brand new, you know, wear and tear will have its effect, and in 4 or 5 years time the profits won't be there to reinvest and refurbish.
Indeed, and isn't that the great challenge that we all face, you know, weaning the consumer of the wonderful value that the consumer is getting, because when they get it for a while, or when that's extended, the period for which they're getting it, they begin to believe that, well, that's the norm price and they should never be paying any more than that, but as you say, those prices can't last.
Indeed, and it's a global trend, not just in our industry, but everything. You know, it's to push the price down. But as I said earlier, it is unsustainable and it can't last. And the huge difficulties we found in earlier recessions is that, first of all, to get the timing right is when to start pushing the prices back up without impinging too much on the customer. And secondly, to try and get it up, because people get very used to paying certain prices and react very negatively if you start pushing it the wrong way.
Don't I know it well from my past experience in the industry and a couple of minor recessions we had in the past, minor relative to what we're in now. And what's the general feeling around West Kerry among the various operators, restaurateurs, hoteliers, B&Bs? Do they feel that the worst may be over, or that we still have some little ways to go before we turn the corner?
Well, I think the crystal balls in Kerry are no different than anywhere else. I mean, we look into it and we're never too sure what's going to happen in the near future. But if you were to go on what the current trends are, we would be encouraged. Certainly, to use that cliche, there's plenty of evidence of green shoots. This year is markedly better than last year. There was a bit of a setback earlier on in the year for some of us, or those of us who deal in the American industry, with the volcanic ash that had a very negative effect early on. When you need encouragement rather than a jolt.
Exactly.
But then again, that's an ill wind for that blow well for me, as in the past 9/11, if I remember, when people refused to travel by air, then we ended up the following November with about 50 honeymoon couples in the bedrooms, and you can see a similar pattern this year. People have decided to stay at home, and we were the net beneficiaries of it.
Yeah, and terrific. And of course the dollar strengthening as it has done substantially in recent months, and also this greater strength in sterling. Hopefully that should help the pick up in the international business, and we can look forward to better times.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm not an economist, but I mean the euro against sterling is back to where it was 2 years ago, which is encouraging. And likewise with the dollar. So I mean, if the American economy continues to recover, it can only be
good for us.
Good for us, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, and I wish you the very best of luck. Hope that weather stays good and the domestic market stays strong, and hopefully if we can tag on growth from Britain and America in the not too distant future, we'll start beginning to get back to normality.
A pleasure, Raymond.